on to somebody else, right? So the information we're giving you, we got to go use this stuff. We really got to go use it. We're not just, feel good. I know there's a couple of people in here just love information. Well, information doesn't really do a lot of good unless you use it. The way we use information in our business, the way we process the information is through the FNA. So because we use the FNA, to get this information to people, you got to learn a couple of things. You got to learn how to make an appointment, right? Because if you know all this information and you don't know how to make an appointment, well, what is that? Is that good or bad if you know how to make an appointment, right? And I find out on the appointment side, people, it's not that they don't know how to make an appointment. It's that they fear the rejection they're going to get. I always tell people this way. It's already no before you ask, right or wrong? Because if you don't ask, it's no, right? Yeah, anybody agree with me? If you don't ask somebody, the answer is already no. So if you ask them, you got a 50% chance to say yes. But most people don't look at it that way. So they don't make appointments. So if you're going to get all this information, you're going to process all this information, you're going to use the FNA with the information, you're not going to learn the products and services, because what you're really doing overall is learning a business. And we didn't tell nobody to write the check for $1.2 million and we go find your location and put a big M over here. And you can drive by, right? Nobody wrote a check for that. What you're doing is investing your time and your energy and your money, and now you're going to use this system to build this gigantic business in a gigantic industry, in a market that's never going away in me and you lifetime. I don't care if you're 20 years of age, in the next 40 years, the industry will still dominate. That's the industry you're in, so there's no shortage of none of that. But what there's a shortage of people understanding the business they're in, because if you use all that process and understand the business, you'll know how to use the information. So the information, you got to use it. You got to know how to make appointments and all those types of different things. Just a couple of more things on compliance before we move on, right? Do you know we have a back office? And if you don't log into the back office, we can tell. I know how many people know that.
Yeah.
Right? Only a few hands go. So you might call me up and give me a long song and a long dance and da-da-da-da. And while I'm talking to you, guess what I'm doing?
Checking you.
I'm pulling you up. Then I find out that you haven't even logged into your back office since April 1st. But that's why I said that. You haven't logged into your back office since April 1st, and this person is lying to me. Right? So if you're not logging into your back office, it's a couple of reasons. Number one, you don't expect anybody to join your business. And that's pretty easy to figure out, because if you're not talking to people to join your business, there ain't nobody going to be there. Right or wrong? It's the same thing with health insurance. If you're not talking to people who are saving their money in their health insurance, can you do any? No. Right? But you're going to get all this information on health insurance. Same thing in land banking. You don't even need a license for that one, the last time I checked. So you know that all this stuff that we're going to bring to you, I mean, it's so much stuff. I just want you to know that you got to run your business like a business. If you went down this corner here, they call it bodegas. If you're not from New York, that's a little grocery store where the guy speaks Spanish. Right? That's called a bodega. Right? I grew up in New York, and every single one of them, every block had one. That's how we grew up with that stuff. Right? So now, if that guy don't wake up in the morning and go open up that store, whether it's 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and he just bought it, because a lot of these guys, they buy those stores. So he just bought this store for $350,000 or whatever they pay for one, right? And if he don't go and open up the door in the morning, what happens? He's out of business. Well, you're out of business, but you don't log into your back office because you don't know what the company's sending out. You don't know who's going to be on the radio show, and these are things that you gotta pay attention in your business to grow it, because it's the little details that's going to kill people in this business. Not the big things. I mean, that's obvious. Everybody's going to do the big stuff. It's the little things that's going to kill your business. So I'm looking at all of you today. I'm looking at you and telling you, listen, we're going to build a gigantic business, and a couple of reasons, because of the products and services. There's no company in financial services in the industry ever put together a platform like this. Trust me, before I joined this business, I tried to put a platform like this. And it was very quickly, very costly. So I understand how the company's growing and all the hoops we got to go, and a lot of people don't get that feeling. But you see, we already know what the end of the movie going to look like here. So you got to hang in there and go for the long haul to build this thing out. And I promise you, the people, the people that's going to build this business, the rewards is going to be incredible. Because first of all, you're the first set of people in New York, you're the first set of guy in Virginia, you're the first set of guy in Brooklyn, you're the first set of guy in, where are you from, one? New York. New York, right? I mean, wherever you're from. In California, Los Angeles, they got people there, but guess what? You could be along in a business for 20, 30 years and some new company could still take you on, yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Well, it's the same thing when you got a recruit come in. Because if you understood the value of one recruit, you talk to everybody that you come across about your business. So let's not even think for 1 second that we're in a business where things are going away, it's going to get harder, it's only going to get easier, and the way you get it easier is the process, the education process and knowing all the different things, right? The first person I want to bring up here is, where do you go? I'll just bring up Dewey. Are you ready to come up? I'm going to have you talk about the index. Oh, David, I'm looking for you. No. Okay, I'm going to bring up Fuji. Fuji is going to talk about today a couple of different things I really wanted to talk about. Okay, the IUL is our index flagship product, and that's a product. When I sit down with people and people question me on it, I tell them, why don't you just go to YouTube and pull up a couple of videos on the index universal policy, and they got some incredible videos there. Right? So if you learn quickly where all your resources are, because of technology today, you don't have to do no heavy lifting. You really don't. But there's some basic things you need to learn about this policy. And you must learn it if you're going to make money with it. If you're going to show it to people, you need to understand. And I believe you need to own one. Okay? Or maybe 2. And if you got a second wife, 3. Right? Or maybe you have 2 kids, because at this point you understand how an index UL works. You'll figure out if you have the ability to fund it, you would want to be doing so. If you have the ability to fund in one of these vehicles, you should be using one. So I'm not going to take a whole lot of time. I'm going to have Fuji come up here. I think you should take like 45 minutes really going through this thing in detail and hammer it down. And tomorrow we'll take more questions, because I want you to write stuff down when they're talking on these policies. Because even though you think you understand it, you still know the word, the verbiage, what the terminology is all about, right? So let's give it up for our Vice Chairman out of Virginia.
All right. How's lunch? Good. I'll be talking about life insurance this afternoon. So I want to make sure that we're on the same page here. Is that exciting? Yep. Yeah. Or is that a boring topic? No. Well, what I'm trying to do is I'm going to make it as exciting as possible so you don't sleep on me, okay? And by the way, just like Rocky mentioned, IUL is our flagship product, okay? One of our flagship products. So it's so important that you understand the concept. I'm not going to be talking about any particular company, okay? I want to be talking about the concept of IUL. Once you understand the concept of IUL, it'll be easy for you to sell the IUL. It doesn't matter if you get it from American General, or you get it from Alliance, or whoever. The concept remains the same, okay? And I'll try my best to make it as exciting as possible so you're in tune to my discussion here today. All right? But promise me that you're going to participate, because this is an interactive presentation, okay? Okay. All right. Let's see this. While I cue this, anybody can tell me what the IUL stands for? All right. At least we got that right, all right? All right. What is your concept about life insurance? Is it an insurance for the ones who want to live, or the ones who's dying? Okay, here you go. You might have seen different presentation on IUL, right? And I might have my own spin on this one, but I tell you it's the same concept, okay? And what I like about IUL in the beginning is that it answers two things that's really really must be answered with any financial plan out there. So what I'm trying to say is, if you have a financial plan, right, it should answer two basic questions. And you can write this down. The first question that it needs to answer is, what happens if you die soon? Okay? And the second question that you need to answer is, what happens if you live longer? Now, isn't it true that those are the only two things certain in life?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people will tell you that two things certain in life is death and taxes, right?
Yeah.
I told them, that's so 70s, right? We're not in that era anymore. So the only two certain things in life is, some of you will die soon, and some of you will live longer. Anyone can disagree? Nobody, right? So we all are in agreement on that one. So, if you have a financial plan, ask yourself that. So let's take, for example, savings account. Who among you have savings account? Come on, don't be shy, okay? Alright, if you have a savings account, you ask yourself, what happens if you die soon? Will you leave enough money for your loved ones to continue with their lifestyle? No, right? Okay. Well, let's take another example. We have an IRA. You opened it 5 years ago. Will you have enough money there to take care of your family? No? Okay. Let's take a look at our popular one. 401k. You've been in the company that you work with for 10 years. Will there be enough money, the 401k, to take care of your family's lifestyle? Alright, some of you don't answer, right? You getting the question here, or are you just shy? Alright, let's ask this side of the room. If you have a 401k, and you've been in a company about 10 years, would you have enough money there should you die to leave behind for your family? No, absolutely, right? So, very important, whatever you do, whatever financial plan you get, you have to ask yourself, what happens if I die soon? Or what happens if I live longer? Right? A good financial plan, or a cornerstone for your financial plan, should be something that answers that. Can you agree with me on that one? Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify IUL in such a way that you will have a pretty good understanding of the concept, and as you relate it to your customer, they will have a pretty good understanding, they buy from you also, right? Because what good is it that you're so technical and they don't buy it?
Yeah, true.
Right? Because you go to very technical with them, they doze off, they sleep, and before you know it, you can close the deal, right?
Yeah.
They were very dreamy. Okay. Okay, so a great plan provides for both situations, right? Okay. Now, IUL, or Index Universal Life, has two components. The first component is, of course, the insurance component. Okay? And we all know what insurance does, right? It provides protection for your family should something happen to you prematurely. If you go to heaven, and I don't know if you go to hell, I don't know what's going to happen. But if you go to heaven, your family will receive a lump sum amount of money. Right? Isn't it nice to be able to leave behind a big lump sum amount of money? What happens if you don't? Instead of leaving them with a lot of money, you leave them with a lot of debts. Oh. They get curse you every day, right? They won't even bring flowers probably and remember your anniversary. So it's so important that you have enough of this, right? Okay, so insurance, we know that is important. The second component of the IUL is what I call the cash value accumulation component. Okay? This is where you get a chance to build up your assets. Okay, so very simple. IUL has two components. On the left hand, we have what? The insurance. And the other hand, we have what? The cash value. All right, man, you're master of IUL already. Okay. All right. So how do we compute the amount of insurance needed by a person? Normally, we use the DIME method. D stands for debt. Now that includes consumer loans, car loans, student loans, any loans, right? Credit cards, stuff like that. Department You guys have those, right?
Right.
Who among you have those? Most of you, right? Okay. And I stands for income replacement. Okay, and we'll do some example later. So what you need to do is figure out how much income does a person make annually, right? And then multiply it by the number of years before they retire. Because what's going to happen is, if that person passes away, you need to replace the income because the other spouse need the income, right? Until they, on a predetermined date of retirement. And the M stands for mortgages. Most people have mortgages, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And E stands for education. Alright, so you take the number of kids that's going to go to college, multiply with the cost of college, right? Okay, for example, so here, let's say somebody have debts of about, amounting to about $20,000, right? Now what? If you have $20,000 in debt, right? I don't ask for it, not cool, you're not gonna go to heaven prematurely, okay? But say you go to heaven prematurely, right? Isn't it nice that you don't leave them behind this debt? Isn't it nice that you have money to cover for it? Yeah, I think that's the most responsible thing to do, right? Who among you agree that's the most responsible thing to do? Right? All right, that's your love letter, right? Okay. So you need to have enough insurance coverage to pay for this. And the second one, of course, is income replacement. Let's say you make $40,000 a year, all right? You, okay? And then you have 10 more years before you retire. So 40,000 multiplied by 10 years, that'll give you 400,000. Now, in a family situation wherein there's a husband and a wife, right? If the husband passes away, does the spouse need that income still?
Yes.
Who among you say yes? Okay. So does that make sense that we need to protect the income?
Yes.
You guys agree?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Now what happens if you don't protect the income? The risk. You know, I sold most of the policies I sold are pretty good size. As a matter of fact, I have a client. He's very wealthy. He makes about $3.8 million a year net. He has about 5 clinics. A lot of doctors work for him. He had 2 pain centers. He just opened 2 MRI centers, right? So he makes a lot of money. So most of the time you think that he don't need anything, right? He has plenty of money. So I asked him, I said, what happens if you die tomorrow, Doc? I said, what do you mean? I said, what happens if you die tomorrow? Can your wife continue the business? Oh, my wife don't know anything about medicine. I said, wow. So if she had to continue the business, what's going to happen to your business? He said, I think it's going to go down. I said, what happened to your child? Well, he has the same lifestyle? It's probably not. So I said, wow, how much protection do you have? He said, $1 million. I said, do you know it's not enough? He said, yeah, I didn't realize it. I said, I thought I'm healthy. I thought we're making a lot of money. I said, yeah, when you're alive, right? But we need to protect your income so that even though they cannot continue the business, at least they have a lump sum of money to replace the income that will be lost. I said, does that make sense to you? I said, yeah, that makes sense. See? That's how you relate to them. When you do your presentation, make it interactive, make it that they relate to you. You know, share your story. Yeah, you cannot sell biotechnical things. You can sell the emotion. As long as what you're telling them is the truth, right? You don't have to worry about it. Now the next thing you need to cover is mortgage. Is the biggest debt somebody can ever have. You guys agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So if somebody has a mortgage balance of $500,000, how much provision in your life insurance we need to cover that for? Another $500,000, right? If 300,000, 300,000. If $1 million, $1 million, right? Why? Because most memories are built in that home, right? Do you think they want to let go with that house when somebody dies? Probably not. They want to keep that house, right? The children want to grow up in that house. So what the best way to do is make sure there's enough protection, not only to pay off the other debt, provide the income replacement, but also to provide payment for that house. That's the best thing you can do, right? Okay. Then the next one is education, right? Let's say they have one kid. Let's say the cost of college is $20,000 a year, multiplied by 4 years, you're looking at about $80,000, right? For example purposes. So based on our example here, this person needs about $800,000. You know what I found out? Most people are underinsured. Most people are underinsured. Okay? As a matter of fact, if you do a DIME method on yourself, and you truly, honestly do the DIME method, what do you think is the answer? Are you underinsured or overinsured? A lot of you are underinsured, right? So if you're underinsured, what are we going to do next? Buy insurance policy, right? All right, we're lining up with Sattie later on after this presentation. All right. So now, do we understand the importance of insurance? All right, who among you understand the importance of insurance now? Most of you? How about those of you who didn't raise your hand? You didn't understand anything yet? I have to go over this. Make sure that everybody understands it. All right, who understands? All right, everybody. It'll be a pain, right? Me going through this again. Okay. All right. One of the concepts I'd like to share with you is called Rule of 72. Any one of you have heard about Rule of 72?
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of you. Okay. Well, for those of you who have not heard about Rule of 72, have you heard about Albert Einstein?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Is he a genius? Yeah? Does he look like me? Close, very close. See, I like representation, interaction, fun, right? So then you don't sleep on me, you know that. So Albert Einstein, at one time, right, he made this equation, and he says that if you take the number 72 and you divide it with the interest rate you're getting from your investment, it'll give you the number of years it'll take for your money to double. You guys follow that?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say you have a savings account. Who has a savings account? Okay, last time you checked, what's your name, ma'am? Marion. What was the interest rate in that checking account? Savings account?
it had one.
Almost nothing.
Almost nothing, right? You're so small you don't even see it, right? All right, let's just assume 1%, all right? Okay, so you take 72, divided by 1, what is the answer? 72. What that means is money in a savings account earning 1% will double every 72 years. So what does that mean? You won't live long enough to see a lot of money. How many more 72 years you have in your life?
Maybe one more.
Now what, right? You barely have one. Alright, so it's important that people put their money in the right place. Right? Money has 3 enemies. You guys follow me? Who agree with me that money has enemies? Okay? What's the first enemy of your money? Taxation, right? Okay, and we'll talk about that today. And the second thing is what? Inflation. Alright? And the third one is your spouse, right? You know why? Your spouse is a best friend you don't even know, right? Like Tammy here. I know her best friend is named Jacques Pinet. Or Tarjay, right? Yeah. Well, he's got a boyfriend named Neiman Marcus. Alright. And why is this important? Why am I telling you this? Because if you have a financial plan, you got to be careful where you put that money, right? One is, does it avoid taxation? And by the way, I say avoid, right? What, was it clear? I said avoid, right? I did not say evade. Okay. Because to evade is illegal, to avoid is legal. You guys know that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I use avoid. A second one, in order for your money to grow, it has to outpace what? Inflation. And the third one, in order for you to accumulate a lot of wealth, you have to keep your spouse hands off your money. Alright. So let's say, for example, here. let's see the effect of taxes on your money. And the reason I'm discussing all of this with you because all of this is actually included on the IUL. It allows you to have protection, allows you to avoid taxation, allows you to outpace inflation, and allows your spouse hands to be off your money. All right, anyways. So, how does taxes affect your money? Just for example purposes, this is just a math example. Let's say you're earning 12%, just for example purposes, right? No guarantees that you can get 12%, but just for example purposes. You take 12, right? And let's say that's gross earnings. So normally we lose about 1/3 of our earnings to taxes, right? So let's say we lose 4%. You leave that 8% net. Now using the concept of Rule 72, I know you're all very young. You all look like 24 years old to me from here up front, right? Okay, who one looks like 24 years old? 25, all right. I mean no disrespect, right? So, and you have $10,000. So now if you're making 8% net, that means 72 divided by 8, how fast does your money double? 72 divided by 8? Oh, no. 9, right? All right, so you're 24. 9 years later, you'll be 33. You have 10,000, you'll have 20,000. 9 years later, you'll be 42. You follow me?
Yeah.
Okay, how much money will you have? 40,000. 9 years later, at what age?
51.
51, how much money?
80,000.
And 9 years later? 160. Wow, you guys are good math students here. All right, that's on a, if your money is getting taxed, that's how fast your money will grow. What happens if your money don't get taxed? Let's say your money is in a tax deferred account, right? So you make 12%, for example, again. Okay, you have $10,000 and one is still 24 years old. So this time, 72 divided by 12 is what? 6, right? You guys agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So if one is 24 and he has 10,000, 6 years later, how old is the one? 30. How much money will he have? Another 6 years? Huh? Oh, no. He's 30 years old now. 6 years later, how old is he going to be? 36. And how much money will he have? 40. Another 6 years?
42.
And how much money?
80.
Another 6 years?
48.
How much money?
160.
Another 6 years?
54.
How much money?
20.
And another 6 years?
60.
How much money?
640.
Wow, is there a big difference between 160 and 640?
Yes.
Absolutely. So the lesson is, if you're not careful where you put your money, right, you may lose in potential earnings through taxation. So the lesson is put your money somewhere that will avoid taxation, right? So now, let's say that's just a tax deferred account, kind of like your retirement plan, right? So if they take 1/3, let's say you cash out, let's say you don't pay penalty, you take 1/3 of that, just for example purposes, instead of 640, you're left with 427,000. That's still better than a taxable account, right? But what if you have that money on an account that doesn't pay taxes, that avoid taxes? Then you get the whole 640. Is that better?
Yes.
So let me ask you this, all right? Very simple question. Where would you rather put your money? In an account that tax you right away or tax now plan? In an account that will tax you later or tax deferred plan? Or in an account that you can avoid taxes or the tax free plan? All right, A, B, or C? Man, you guys passed my IUL lesson. Awesome! So now, IUL allows you to avoid taxes, right? And we know that. And if you use the math, you know that we can have more money in a tax-free account. True? All right. So let me give you another concept here. Variable versus index. And the reason I want to share this with you is I want you to understand the difference, right? And if you follow investment market, you have probably seen that the market has been going up and going down, right? Going up and going down. Now, who among you here, sitting here today, can predict when the market is going down? Nobody? You don't have a crystal ball? I wish we had, right? Okay. So, if you don't know when the market is going down, is it safe to put your money somewhere that the money is at the mercy of the market that you cannot control or predict? Nah, huh? You don't feel comfortable with that, right? Absolutely. So I want to share with you the concept of index, all right? The index concept, it says here, is a system designed to participate in the gains while eliminating losses. Wow, is that powerful? Can you get excited about that?
Yes.
Can you get excited about making money and not losing money? Who among you can get excited about that? Awesome. If you can get excited, don't you think your prospect will get excited too? Now, who among you have 401k in the last 7 years? Now, in the last 7 years, I don't know if you were paying attention to your statement. Did you see the value of your 401k go down?
Yes.
101k now? Was that exciting? No, right? Scary, exactly. So that's the kind of situation that the index concept, right, a strategy and investment tries to avoid. Okay? It allows you to participate in the gain, but not in the losses, right? It has upside potential, right? When the index, normally the stock market, right, S&P 500 is up, an equity index product will return to you a portion of the stock market gain. Now, during the downside, right, during the years when the index is down, your equity index account will not lose money. Now, I can sleep all night long and not worry about my money. See that? That's why there's never a perfect time to be in the business than now. In the 70s, the term insurance, championed by Primerica, was the best thing, right? In the 90s, the variable universal life was the best thing. Now, we have products that actually trump those old products, right? One of our product right now is the IUL. And we've been talking about IUL the last few minutes, right? We understand the IUL has two components, right? What's the first component? What's the second component? Wow. Okay. Now let me share to you the historical performance of investment market here. And this came from your old presentation, actually. All right. You'll have this in the website. So we have this, right? You see here from 2011 to 2000, okay? S&P 500, the red is when the market went down, right? The green one is when the market is up. Anytime the market is up, everybody's happy, right? Okay? However, in an index account, they cap you. Most companies will cap you around 12%. Is that good or bad? Still good, right? Good. Now, when the market goes down, like here, the year 2001, it gives you a negative return, negative 10, right? Can you get excited about a negative return? No, exactly, right? So is that good or bad? But with the index account, guess what happens? You don't lose money. Now that's exciting. Is that good or bad? Good. All right. So it goes on and on, right? So when you look at the graph, it looks like this. I know some of you like pictures, right? But this is a good picture here. Okay. If you have 100,000 and you have placed that on the stock market, which is fluctuating, right? We don't know if it's going to go up or when it's going to go down. This graphic represents the downward, the downward trajectory of the market. This one it goes up and goes down again. Okay. So if you have 100,000, 11 years later you'll have 102,000. Now the blue one, the blue graph represents money placed on an index account. When the market is up, it goes up too. When the market goes down, it stays there. Right? It locks in your money. When the market goes up again, it goes up again. When the market goes down, it stays there. Right? So that's exciting, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Very exciting. The only reason probably you're not excited because you don't have one. Is that true?
Yes.
You know, I'm so excited. Well, I could have one. But if you don't have one, you can never get excited about this deal. Because it doesn't affect you. Right? Now, who among you here would like to get excited about this deal here? Yeah? A lot of you? Right. Well, the only way you can get excited about this deal, about index universal life, is to really experience it yourself. That means you need to have one, right? Because you said it's good, right?
Yes.
So you gotta put your money where your mouth is. If you said it's good, then it's good.
Yeah.
Right. And if you don't think it's good, it's not good, then you don't do it. Okay. In summary here, Internal Revenue Code 7702 allows us to do all of this. Okay? So somebody asks you, how is it possible? It's possible because of Internal Revenue Code 7702. Under the insurance component, once again, you'll enjoy tax-free death benefit. Okay? Should something happen to you, just like I said, you go to heaven, your beneficiary will receive that money tax-free. And if you go to hell, I don't know. Yes, ma'am.
Can you have as many as you, I guess you can fund, so if you buy one, but then later on you make more money, you can have another one?
I'll be your best agent.
Ah!
Of course, as long as you can prove insurable need, you can have as many as you want.
Okay.
As long as you can prove that you have insurable need, okay?
Right, right.
Okay. All right. Okay. Any question?
When a client is no longer insurable, would you manipulate the
All right. First, let me put a stop on that. Let me put a stop on that first. We don't use the word manipulate in this business, okay?
way that the policy of insurance and more on the cash value?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Let's erase that in our vocabulary, okay? Because some people will misinterpret you, okay, or misconstrue you.
What was she trying to say?
Modify your plan. All right. All right. Now, the insurability question needs to be answered at the time of application. Okay. That's the only time you need to prove that you need to have that. Okay. Now, as years go on, things will change in your life, right? Okay. Your policy will have probably more cash value than you have designed it for, or who knows, right? Yeah, you can modify it so that most of your money goes to the cash value accumulation component, and you can reduce your. It's a flexible policy.
What is the tax consequence?
The tax consequence, all right? If you follow the guideline, there's none. If you don't follow the guideline, there is. Okay? Now, there is what we call a 7A, which is very technical now, right? It's like your allowance, the most that you can put into the account in the 7-year period before it becomes a MEC, a modified endowment contract. And when it becomes a modified endowment contract, you will lose some of its tax advantages. Okay? So, but that's technical. As long as you follow the guideline, okay, you will have no tax consequence, like adverse tax consequence. Okay? All right. That is getting exciting, right? Awesome, awesome. Okay. The amount, all right, of coverage, the face amount is flexible. Okay, you can increase, you can decrease. Okay, you can modify. Don't manipulate. All right, the premium is also flexible. You know, sometimes when we get started with this account, we don't have enough money, right? So you can start somewhere and increase it along the way. Because I know as long as you follow our coaching, there's no reason why you should not make a lot of money. Okay? I think the only reason you're not going to make a lot of money in this company is if you belong to, there's two groups of people that I think is present in our company. See, there's only three groups of people out there, right? One is they watch things happen, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if somebody belongs to that group. The second one, they wonder what happened. They really don't have a clue, right? And the third one, you make things happen. So I hope that after this boot camp we have here, you're on that third group, right? The people that make things happen. And where does it start? From you, right? You make things happen for you first. Because who cannot tell Kathleen that IUL is good for Kathleen if you one don't have one? Make sense?
Sure.
Makes sense, okay. Exactly. All right. You guys agree?
Yes.
Who among you agree?
Yeah.
Let me see you raise your hand. You agree? All right, good. So, it has living benefit also. That's the reason why I like this. You don't have to die to enjoy the benefit of this deal. By the way, how could you enjoy your death already, right? That's why I like this policy, because while you're still alive, right? If a medical professional tells you you have like about 1 year left in your life, you can take out your cash value and party like a rock star.
Dead Star.
You get all of it or part of it?
A portion of it, right? Don't you want to, before you go, to have a big party first?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I like that. Yeah, that's why I like it. It's the insurance for those who want to live actively, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't want to die. We want to live. We want to accumulate a lot of money, and we want to enjoy our money, right? And we want to enjoy our money. We want it to grow tax deferred, and you know about tax deferred, right? Okay, your money will earn some money, right? And then that earnings will earn some more earnings, and they don't tax it right away, tax deferred. But properly structured, you can take out that money from your account tax free. Now, 2 ways you can take it out. First, in the form of a loan. That's one way you take it out. Loans are non-taxable event. Okay? As a matter of fact, you go to a bank tomorrow to prove me wrong. You tell them you tell them, I need 100,000. I want to loan 100,000. I tell you to give you the whole 100,000. They don't charge you tax on that. But one thing that they will charge you on a loan, what's that? Interest. Now, depending on which company you get your IUL from, different companies have different loan provision. Normally, there is what we call wash loan. What wash loan stands for is that they credit you the same amount they charge you. So if they charge you 4%, they credit you 4%, then it's called a wash loan. So the net is like 0, right? But every company has a slight difference on their loan provision. So you be careful which one, okay? So you can design this also to provide you a lifetime tax-free income, okay? And how do you do that? Well, we have what we call FIFO. It's an accounting term called first in, first out. Whatever premiums you pay in has been taxed already. So when you design the distribution, that's the first thing you gotta take out. The rest of the earnings, you take out as a loan. So that's how you avoid taxes.
Say it one more time.
I say it one more time? No, I charge you $10. All right, 2 ways you can take the money out. One, take it out as a loan, right? Take it out as a loan. We understand about loan, right? The second one, you can also as a distribution. And the way you take it out, right, as an income stream in the future, is you take out the money that you put in first, which is the premium. And the premium you put in has been taxed already. Okay? Now the earnings, right, you take it out as a loan. In that way, you don't pay taxes. Okay? It's a strategy. Okay, tax-free withdrawal, cash value protection, right? With index concept, there's cash value protection. It only go up, it never go down. Okay? Now, cash value will be utilized for any purpose. Right? You can go shopping. Okay? One day you have a lot of money in there. You can call me, hey Fuji, you have time this Saturday, let's go shopping. I'll be happy to go with you, right? I'll be happy to drive you around. Just make sure you include me in your shopping list. Alright. No penalty for early withdrawal, right? Unlike your retirement plans, the 401k, the IRA, if you withdraw at a certain age, right, below the required age, then they penalize you and tax you. But this one, you don't. Okay? You can access your cash value. It doesn't matter how much. Could be a lot, could be a little. You know, you have flexibility, and there's no age requirement for that. You don't need to wait until you're 59 yet. So, in summary here. Let me share to you some of the uses of IUL, right? Of course, insurance is the #1 use, right? And the second one, under the cash value accumulation, you can use it as a supplement to your retirement money, okay? You can use the money accumulator for major purchases, like buying a car. So instead of you going out there and taking a loan from your credit union, right? You use this as a self-banking kind of a strategy. You take out money, right? And then you pay yourself interest. It goes back to you anyway, right? So instead of going to the bank, you do this. College funding, you can take that money out to provide money for your kids' education. Generational wealth transfer, you know. One of the things that's really dear to me is this one, number 5 reason. When my father passes away, unfortunately, he never believed in life insurance. So there was no transfer of wealth. There was a transfer of debts, but no transfer of wealth. So I make sure in my generation is that if something happened to me, that there will be a generational transfer of wealth. That the next generation will be wealthy and wealthy and wealthy forever, right? And estate tax funding, you know, a lot of your rich clients, especially if they have assets over $5 billion, they're due for a lot of big estate taxes, right? They need to find money to provide for this. So they can use the proceeds from their life insurance to do that. Now on the business side, you can use this as a buy and sell agreement, right? Let's say there's 2 partners, okay? One partner will suffer if the other partner dies. So the other partner will buy a life insurance, an IUL on the other partner, and vice versa, okay? On a key employee, for example, all of you, you're going to be making money someday, right? So I'm going to buy policy from each one of you, right? So if something happened to you, I become rich, is that right? That's just one of the uses of IUL. I buy a big one on Dewey. Okay? Y'all understand the concept about IUL now?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Who understand the concept of IUL? Okay, good. Now, how many components does IUL have? 2. Which one? The first one is what? Insurance. The second one is what? Right. Now, under the cash value, your money is protected, right? Now, it's protected from 3 enemies of money, right?
Yes.
What's the first enemy? Taxes. The second enemy? Inflation. The third enemy? You know why? You know why it does protect you from your spouse? Because if you're the policy owner, your wife cannot touch it. Is that true? Does that make sense? Exactly. Now don't be stashing away all your money into that, right? Your wife will find out. Or your spouse will find out. Well, thank you very much. You've been a very good audience.